This is a short piece about the legacy of Madonna with Lucy O'Brien. I talked to her recently about her Karen Carpenter book, and of course, I wanted to talk to her about a book she released some years ago called Madonna Like an Icon. And here we talk about Madonna's legacy.
It first came out in 2007, and then I updated it, and it came out in time for her 60th birthday. In Well, I updated it in 2018, and it came out then. Um, and I think what was great about coming back to it after those 10 years was how much realizing how much Madonna has become this cultural force and dominant force, and a survivor too, actually, from the 1980s. And it wasn't long after she'd given that speech at the Billboard Women of the Year Awards, where she said that her colleagues, Prince, George Michael, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, they were all gone. And she was almost like the last person standing. And I thought that was really poignant, actually. And it said a lot about her strength, and also what she'd achieved in her life.
Do you think her legacy, though, is becoming more important because of the political situation, particularly, today in America and what that's doing to minority rights, what that's doing to women?
Yeah, I think Madonna's legacy has always been really inclusive, and she's been a lifelong Democrat, and she's been really public about that, always urging her fans to vote, and she's always been very outspoken in terms of supporting LGBTQ plus issues the whole time. Um, she's been really steadfast in that. And she's come in for a lot of criticism on all different levels. Um, but I think that that's outweighed by what she's achieved and being such an advocate really for gay rights, and also uh, ethnic minorities as well. Um, and kind of bringing that into music that is really, really strong, really so kind of transcendent in lots of ways, really joyful.
I mean, it does also seem to be a change. I mean, there was a book out recently called The Madonna Songbook, which really went into depth
Mm.
about the songs and her contribution and how she is in the studio
Yeah,
and how she works with people. And there
yeah,
seems to be much more of a shift in how we perceive her rather than, the extreme over the top Madonna showing her body again type stories.
yeah, exactly. And when I first did the book, all the previous biographies had really dwelt on the more sensational side of her image, the sort of kind of sexual side and the media manipulation, etc. And because my background is as a music writer, I wanted to really probe, as I always do, into kind of, I want to be inside, almost fly on the wall in the studio. Um, because she'd been stereotyped as this artist who was of mediocre talent, who was just looked good and was really a bit savvy with the media. And I thought, no, there's got to be more than that because she's been consistently successful with a consistent aesthetic throughout all her albums. So um, that's not that's not just as Guy Sigsworth said to me, one of her producers, it's not just 30 years of great hair, you know. she I was really gratified to find, interviewing friends and colleagues and musicians, producers, choreographers, how much those are her ideas. It's her lyrics, it's her melodies, It's her
It's her
music.
stories, isn't it? It's quite often
Yeah,
about her life.
that's right. That's right. Um, and she, you know, I was quite struck when Guy Pratt, who played bass, that amazing bass solo at the end of Like a Prayer, he said on the Like a Prayer sessions for the whole album, she was so on point when it came to all the musicians in the studio and what they were playing, and literally down to the very bars that they were playing. And she was there right on it, like with the drums, with the guitar, that's a proper musician. That's not someone who's just like a floozy who dances quite well.
Not just 30 years of hair, as you said.
Yeah,
What a brilliant
exactly.
it's quote of the century. Lucy, thank you so much.
Pleasure.